Hello, 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 hello. Oh my God. Oh, my darlings, my sweet little darlings. We got a good show for you. We got a damn good show for you. So anyway, Tom Holland, gives his little British ass take. By the way, British people, English people, England has the worst fucking cuisine on the planet. You motherfuckers are the purveyors of beans on toast. What the fuck is that? So anyway, I'm gonna get myself another beer.
Also been on record about English food being better than American. I'm curious.
There is no way British food is better than American food. I'm sorry. You guys have your... The only thing you guys that have served that sounds appetizing is a sausage roll. That's it!
Curious if you still hold that opinion.
What would you classify as American food? Let's just talk about that.
I immediately think about barbecue, so hamburgers.
Okay. Well, one, normally that's a cheeseburger. There is a difference.
Okay, hamburger is German, from Hamburg.
Yeah, except we made it 1,000 times better, you pompous British fuck.
What else would you consider American food?
French fries.
Except French fries are not French. I don't know how they got that fucking name, but they're not fucking French.
You've also been on record.
So fuck you, you little fucking 110-pound twerp. I don't want to get that mad yet. All right, here we go with feeding Bill Gates a fake burger.
It's about saving money. Everything I'm wearing, I've had since boot camp.
Progress of plant-based meat for a couple years now, and allegedly it looks...
Yeah, I've had Impossible Meat. I've had a couple of the other plant-based variants of meat, made burgers out of them. They literally taste like Chinese newspapers.
And tastes like meat, yet it's made from plants. Now, at the top of this video, I feel like I should start with a confession. I eat meat, like, kind of a lot. I've had some form of meat at pretty much every meal since I was a kid. My favorite genre of food is barbecue.
I have eaten meat with every meal that I've ever had. Well, no, I take that back. There have been some where I've gone vegetarians and a few where I've gone vegan. Generally, I want some form of dead animal on the table.
So be that as it may, as a firm believer in the scientific method, I feel like it's time for me just to really buckle down and get to the bottom of this plant-based meat thing. And so today on my quest for answers, I'm looking at three main questions. Number one, how does it taste? And not just that, but how does it look and feel and smell? How successfully does it trick my brain into thinking this is real meat? Number two, is it good for me? If it does trick my brain...
It doesn't trick your brain. If anything, it gives the interpretation of an overdone hamburger. Like that. Remember when you were in school and it was like cheeseburger day? And the fat, disgusting lunch lady handed you your cheeseburger and you got your little tray and you sat it down to your little area in lunchroom. That's what it tastes like. A hamburger that's been cooked beyond fuck.
What the heck is in it?
Hell, microwave burgers are better.
Is it just some kind of like lab chemical concoction? And also, how does it compare to like the protein from a real burger? And number 3, is it good for the planet? And on this one, I have a hunch that it is, but is it like, meh, that's a little better? Or is it like 100 times better? Now I should say a big motivation for me, and something I think even my fellow meat eaters could agree on, is that the concept of factory farms isn't great. The whole cows that have never seen a blade of grass thing.
Fine. You want to whine and bitch about factory farming? Okay. But at the end of the day, here's the thing. Without it, we couldn't have meat.
And pigs, which by most accounts are smarter than dogs, that live their entire lives indoors on crowded concrete.
I don't care.
These factories are efficient. They're optimized for driving down costs, not for animal well-being. And I'm not trying to be a downer, it's just something I don't like to think about when I'm eating.
Yeah, but here's the thing. If you eat meat, you're a part of it. So either go vegan or shut the fuck up and do what I do and just simply not care.
My In-N-Out burger or Chick-fil-A. And it's a lame excuse, but I feel like I sort of never have had a good alternative option. I mean, historically, this is a veggie burger, and nothing about this works as a burger for me. But in recent years, the strategy shifted to target people exactly like me. Basically try and make it as close to real meat as possible.
Well, no, I derive erotic pleasure from eating the flesh of another living thing.
Which reduces
Or eating the flesh of something that once was living.
Friction for trying a plant-based option. So their goal is, if I'm going meatless at the summer barbecue, instead of a quinoa salad, I can still enjoy the full experience of a burger with my friends. And so on that note, let's get right into question number 1. Throw this puppy on the grill. Sizzle. Definitely sounds like a burger and even smells like it. And you're getting like the fat dripping down, which is causing the flames.
I never got that from Impossible Meat. It never smelt like a burger on the grill. I guess it did sound like it, but then again, that's anything on the griddle. Celery sizzles, sweetheart.
To come up.
Oh, no. That,
Hazelnut.
So far the experience feels pretty analogous to just grilling a burger. When I lick the fork, it definitely tastes like there was meat on this fork. All right, this cuts and feels exactly like a real burger. But before I officially...
No, it doesn't. You're lying. You're just fucking lying at this point.
Taste it, I kind of want to know exactly what's in there. And to do that,
I've tasted the Impossible Meat. It tastes like crap.
I'm going to fly out to the 2...
And I could literally, yes, I could literally taste a burger blindfolded, and yeah, I would know which one.
companies who are the leader in this space, Beyond Meat and Impossible Food.
And this son of a bitch has the most viewed cheeseburger video in the world at 78 million views. And he has 67 million subscribers.
At Beyond Meat, the first thing they showed me were the labs where they do all their research. Are these actors or these are real scientists?
These are scientists, yeah.
This feels like Jurassic Park, you know, where they're like giving you the tour and yeah. And right out of the gate, they put my mind at ease and showed me a tray of all the main stuff that makes up their burgers. Apparently, they work on not just the taste, but they have teams of researchers working on the texture, color, the smell, the grilling sound, even the same amount of calories and protein as a meat burger. Their goal is to make it as frictionless as possible for people like me to make the switch. So they have...
I will never make the switch. I want to eat dead flesh. I want to eat flesh.
These for the color, coconut and sunflower oil for the fat so it sizzles on the grill, potatoes for carbohydrates, and then these for the protein, the majority coming from yellow peas. These burgers are better for you because they have no cholesterol, but they do have saturated fat from the coconut oil, so you shouldn't think of this as healthy as like a plain salad with no dressing. After getting the full tour, I was feeling pretty good, so it was time for the real test in the kitchen. I've intentionally kept my taste buds virgin.
Okay, great.
I haven't tasted it, and I had opportunities, but like, no, I want to wait. No No pressure. But next week, I'm going to meet Bill Gates.
Yeah.
And I have to cook for him. You're like a professional chef, right?
I am.
In the next like 20 minutes, you need to transfer all that knowledge from your brain into mine, okay? We started with their Italian sausage, made of course just from plants, and Chef Chris showed me some power moves to
That looks like dog shit.
impress Bill with on the grill. I'm so scared.
Cheers.
Okay, cheers. Even putting flavor aside,
I think Bill will be okay with
I'm sorry. I've had their burgers. This is garbage.
a little bit of a juice.
there's no way I would have guessed I wasn't actually eating real meat. That's pretty good.
Cheers.
Cheers. That's really good. I need one more taste. It's freaking good.
Thank you.
Next up was their burger, which it turns out was equally amazing. Genuinely, when you can surround it with burger stuff, it's really hard to tell.
There's no way to tell.
My next trip was to Impossible Foods, and they actually let me make a burger myself just from the ingredients in these bowls.
So the first thing that we're gonna do is add the water to
Okay.
the soy protein, and then we're gonna add the potato protein.
Okay.
So the next thing we're gonna put in is our magic ingredient, which do you know what this is?
Red number 5 is just food.
So this is our magic ingredient. It's called heme, which is short for hemoglobin. Heme is responsible for
Oh, yeah, I'm sure all this is fucking wonderful. I love it when my meat is processed in a plant in a place where they have to wear surgical equipment.
making meat taste like meat. That's found in every living plant and animal. You can get heme from soy plants.
I see.
You don't have to get it from animals.
Next, we added the cellulose.
Jesus Christ, we've been eating animals for fucking thousands of years. Shut the. God, I can't do it. I can't fucking do it.
Based culinary binder to hold everything together, and then finally the coconut and sunflower oils.
Have you done any pastry work in your life?
Oh, tons of
Okay,
pastry.
you're gonna like fold and smush.
All my pastry work's shining through.
At US Bank, we know how good it feels to reach your milestones, but we also know what really goes into
You literally just made the Impossible Burger yourself.
Like five little cups.
Five bowls, yeah.
One of them was water.
One of them was water.
So now I think it's time to cook one of these up.
96% of the folks who are ordering our product are self-identified meat eaters.
I'm definitely your target demo. I grew up like.
And this is why I will never fucking goddamn. No. I want to eat the flesh of another bean. Anyway, let's get into this so I can rage a little more.
Liberty Mutual has savings for all. Mary had a little something.
What does it feel like to step into the Athens tube? Kinda like, revolutionary cage technology compresses.
You are watching the Cooking with Jack show.
Hey guys, welcome to the show. Okay, we literally 5 minutes ago changed the idea of our video completely because last night we reviewed a hibachi place on Jack and the Go. The one thing that was mind-blowing is how silky and tender the steak and chicken were.
Probably because they used a good cut of steak. And again, hibachi isn't about the quality of food. It's more just the show.
So I talked to the cook. I said, look, what do you guys soak this in? What do you do with the meat to make it so tender? He said it's a process called velveting. I'm like, you're velveting the meat?
You didn't ask him that. And you didn't get into this conversation. I'm willing to gamble.
He said, yeah. He gave me the recipe, super easy. We're gonna try it tonight.
Oh, really? A fucking restaurant gave up a trade secret. What made that restaurant successful? Oh, yeah, he just gave you that shit on oh, my God. Give me a break. No, they fucking don't.
That's it. So come on in close. I'll show you what we're going to do. The ingredients. We're going to test it out. See if velveting works at home or only at the restaurant. Which...
There is no way that restaurant gave up that recipe. Not a fucking goddamn chance. You are lying.
I expect it to work here. So we'll see. It's supposed to be pretty simple. You treat the meat with the baking soda. Then you rinse it all off and get the baking soda off. Then you can cook it like regular. We're going to use lemon pepper.
How do you cook a roast regular? How?
And holy garlic and a little of this red boat fish sauce. And we're going to cook it up. So first we'll treat it. So let's get this cut up first. Okay, guys. By the way, this is so easy. What he told me with the baking soda.
Ah, crap. Oh, well.
Like this. Okay. And you take, I'll have the recipe down below. Basically. There you go. Got that all mixed
Again,
up. Take that.
Again, maybe if you improved your diet, your other hand wouldn't be fucking crippled.
Okay, take your hand. You can use a food glove if you're...
Again, this is from your cunt wife, Tammy. Again, yeah, his actual wife's name is actually Tammy. So you know she's a cunt. Yeah, well, maybe if she wasn't such a fucking Jesus freak, maybe you could get the help you deserve.
You feel more like a food...
And maybe you could actually repair your fucking relationship with your firstborn son. How about that, Jack?
Food glove, go ahead. I don't care. I'm just going to wash my hand when I'm done. Okay. You're going to toss...
And I also have news for you, Jack. Sweet Jesus doesn't care.
Toss it in the baking soda. Now, let this sit in the refrigerator for 30 minutes. So we're going to pop it in right now, and we're going to cook it up.
All right. I've had enough of this. You know what? I promised to do something, and I'm going to do it. But not before doing this. You know, it's been a year since this motherfucker posted. Oh, he'll sit there and criticize my cooking videos all the live long goddamn day. Yet it's been over a fucking year since you've updated this. So I figured, what the hell? I'll give him a little review. Now, this is no more taco kits. It's taco night. And unless that Diet Coke is filled with rum, we got a problem.
Taco night. We're going to make tacos. I already have this preheating a little bit. But...
Dude, you're whatever the fuck that is. Dude, that's black as shit. What did you do to that thing? What did you forge the one ring in it?
First, we're going to cut an onion. This is just going to be like your traditional sort of like...
Oh my god, and he half cut a fucking onion. Go buy a whole onion. It costs literally $1.25. Oh my god, in heaven and hell and everything in between. I have to go pee. I have to go pee now. So this dipshit who fancies himself my better is seriously so fucking cheap that he can't buy another goddamn onion. He has to use something that he cut previously. Now, you're probably wondering and harping on why this is such a problem. Well, one, onions take on a funky taste once they've been cut and exposed to air for too long. And two, there is a weird line around this border. Like, this is a borderline drawn on a map. What the fuck is going on here? Just buy another fucking onion.
You know, usually you'd use a little packet on your...
All right, well, you know what?
Like pound of beef or whatever. First thing we're going to do is break down part of an onion, not the whole thing. We don't need all of this.
You're done.
I don't know. I'll probably go like halfway. Just get the skin off.
Okay, the outer layer of onion, fine.
I'll probably go like here.
What?
Like vertical cuts.
What the fuck are you doing? Just dice the fucking onion!
Middle cut, about the same depth, and then about a medium dice on these. We're also going to use some of these in a smaller dice in a second. All right, now I'm gonna see how hot this jalapeno is before I. You can see it's getting on in age a little bit.
Yeah, it looks like shit. You shouldn't use it. So now, what are you doing with the other half of the onion? Just putting it back in the fridge to rot, or... Well, actually, the 3/4 of the onion.
That's why I want to use it. I don't want to waste it. So I'm either going to put this in like a little pico situation, if it's real hot, or a little bit of it right with this if it's not. Sometimes...
All right, well, most of the heat of a jalapeno comes from the pith, or the white part, and the seeds. The meat of the pepper isn't actually all that hot. And I have no idea how the fuck you're slicing this, my dude. But I guess you do you.
I mean, depending on where you get your jalapenos, what time of season it is, how big they are sometimes. They can be varying degrees of hot. This smells pretty hot already. It's probably... You don't have to try raw jalapeno if you don't want to. You can just go with your gut, but I'm gonna. It's not that bad. That's too hot to put in there. All right. So.
Again, what happened to this pot? What fucking happened to this pot? Plus, there looks like shit built up on that lip. This looks like a lip built up on this pot. What did you do? What in God's name were you making? What fallen god of the insanity depths were you trying to raise? Because Cthulhu requires a little bit bigger thing than this.
I don't want it to blow my doors off the whole time. I don't want the whole thing to be spicy. I want aspects of spice, but it's not too hot.
Then you should have kept the seeds, but you didn't. And in fact, you cooked one of the more mild peppers.
Hot to put in our other thing. So, first things first, we gotta heat up some oil. We're gonna put onions in there.
What did he do to this pot? My God, I have one just like it. And it looks like that lip is just extra corroded crap, like it actually made like a seal or something. Like there's depth to this ring. What are you sending to the black abyss?
There you go. A little bit of salt to draw out the water, not a ton. I got some pretty coarse salt here on accident, so I'm going to use less than I would with a kosher salt. Breaks down and melts a little bit. All right, so we're just going to let these cook through a little bit before we put our 80-20 burger in. I wouldn't use anything leaner than 80-20. You don't want tacos to be dry, and that's how you get dry tacos.
Except with tacos, and I agree, I wouldn't use anything less than 80-20, but you have an out with tacos. Because you add the whole seasoning and water mix.
Dude. So I'm going to, let's dice up this onion a little bit smaller, maybe not the whole thing still. So you can see we make vertical cuts more often. That's it. That's the premise. It just makes smaller onion dices, and you want them to be roughly uniform. And then we're going to go down the middle. And because we're going for a smaller dice, I'm going to go here, and I'm going to go here, but they're already sort of segmented, as you can see. You can see this is just sort of going to give us an evenish dice.
You know, that whole cut across the middle, it literally almost does nothing.
And then, little tiny guys, not too tiny. Run our knife down. Oh,
Your knife is dull as shit, by the way, because you had to saw through it. You should, at that point, be able to just add pressure, and the knife should slide through like butter. Sharpen your knives, dude. And for once, this is not an attack. That's actually a genuine safety thing. For the safety of your kitchen, Jake, sharpen your fucking knives.
And we just want a nice fine dice. And we keep the root end here because you can see I can grab it and pick it up. Well, I guess I dropped it, but you can see it just gives you stability on the board. And then you can just set it aside. There we go. So a nice small dice of onion. We're going to put that just in this container here.
I still see some big fucking pieces.
So, a little pinch of salt.
Although I will say he is using deli containers, which I do use.
We're going to do a little sugar on here. I'm just going to let this start going now. Not a lot, just like, some pinches. It's not going to make it sweet. just enough to sort of cut through some of the heat that the onions and specifically
yes,
this jalapeno give you. Now, for this, I'm not going to use this whole thing, but I'll do a similar principle to that and just cut sort of long, thin strips. A paring knife might be better for this if you're
No, just a sharp knife.
Not as comfortable. There we go. And then we're just going to make a really nice, thin. All right. I think that's probably plenty of jalapeno for this. So we're going to put that in. Then we're going to take this lime. It's already sort of segmented. And we take a lime and just squeeze it on top. Get the lime juice going in there. And then you want to mix it up. And let this sort of like
fucking knife
sit and
didn't even
chill
go
out.
through
This will
all
get
of
less
it.
Spicy over time. As well, it'll kind of do both. The onions will get spicier, but the jalapenos will get less spicy.
You just suck, don't you, Jake? You just suck at this. Is that why since your last cooking video I made, I don't know, probably 400 videos? And that's not an exaggeration. I'm either at I know I'm somewhere between 300 and 400. Your last video was over a year ago.
So it'll spread out a little bit. How about that? Everything a little bit happier. You can add more probably if you want. I'm gonna
And I guarantee I can beat you in a taco challenge.
do a little bit more. We'll do a small one. Yeah, those already taste good though. Just a little bit more.
You know, it's funny. I was done with Jake. I was just gonna let him do whatever the fuck he wanted to do. His followers were the one that drug me back. So yeah, Jake, if you wonder why I'm still harassing you or making fun of you, your followers just wouldn't let it go. I was ready to let it go and just never talk about you again. But it is what it is. Doesn't matter.
And then we're gonna let these sit around with a lid on. You can also shake this around. We're just gonna let those sit around. And that's sort of like, not really a pickle, but kind of. You know, you're using the acid from the lime for that. All right, these are just about ready to go. Yeah.
No, that wasn't a pickle. Pickling is something completely different, sweetheart.
Got a little color on these. Perfect. All right. So, we're going to take our burger. Like always, this is from my local butcher.
All right, not a problem.
So,
I usually
right in there.
prefer beef from the local butcher.
Break it up. I'm using my Dutchie, but you can use just anything wide. I could have used this, but I'm going to use this for tortillas later.
Yeah, but I'm looking at this Dutch oven, and what did you do to it? Or do you not know how to clean it?
You don't need, like, super tall sides, but we're going to put a little liquid in this later, too, so... All right. So see how this is getting down there, and you can hear it all getting happy? All right. I'm messing with it right now, but you see I'm not flipping it? All right. I want to let this burger brown for a moment. I don't want to touch it. All right? You might feel like you want to like stir it around a lot. Don't do that right now. Let that cook for a second. Some of this is going to get nice and brown. It'll be delicious. Okay. So, while that's cooking, we're good with our jalapeno. Good with all this. I'll clean this up in a second. Let me do the garlic real quick. I do want garlic in there, but we want this to be after. Skin comes off. Fresh garlic, always the way, of course. And then just take the pieces.
Except you could just do a little thing from a jar of garlic with olive oil and get the exact same fucking effect.
And run your knife down. And then when they start breaking down like this, you don't really have to hold on to them. You just gotta make sure you can release. There you go. Run your knife through a couple more times. You can also use like a garlic press or something. But I'm gonna let this cook with the beef a little bit. All right, so you can hear this change. All right, now we're gonna turn it a little bit. There we go.
Not a problem.
Starting to develop some stuff.
You're in
And
time
we want
out
these
now.
onions to sort of rotate to the top.
For 24 hours.
And this burger to be
Stop
near the bottom
spamming.
as this cooks down. I can put the garlic in right now.
Oh, I don't know.
Burger itself is...
Except probably 1,000 restaurants on Triple D. It's one of those stupid, pretentious things that dipshits like Jake that can't actually cook think that if they use, I used real garlic. Yeah, well, my dish was better, bitch.
is going to be releasing some water. In fact, we want this higher. Should have said that before. You don't want to sit here and...
I mean, look at this dish. He is literally cooking it in the black cauldron of death with all the burnt flavors of all those fucking dishes that came before. And you're telling me that's not going to impart a flavor of death? But somehow, some way, some son of a bitch is going to go garlic from freshly squeezed garlic. Give me a fucking cock-sucking break. You're telling me that somebody would know the difference with garlic in a dish cooked in a pot like that? Give me a break. Give me a fucking break.
And just...
No, you know what? All right. I just...
boil this. That sizzle was good, but we want to maintain that. So make sure to keep your heat a little bit higher. We want the spices. So I have some cumin seeds, some arbol chili. I have some other stuff I'm going to put in here, but I don't think I have to hand grind it. And we just want to grind that up. I don't have all the seeds from the chili. You can also toast these before you do this, and they'll be really good. But they're gonna mingle in there enough. You can also add something like coriander, marjoram. But if we want it more alike what you're used to, stuff like cumin, that chili.
You use a mortar.
Some...
You use a mortar and pestle. Wow. Fucking wow. You still cook like shit.
Paprika for smokiness.
And it looks like your meat and everything you're using for tacos is still going into a diseased cauldron. I mean, I see the black ring around your fucking meat! What is wrong with you? Dude, it's called fucking soap!
You have those onions in there already. Chili powder.
You know, people bitch about my grill, but here's the thing. At least with my grill, I can set the motherfucker on fire.
And then I'll just hit it with whatever is left of this cumin in here, which is not hand ground, but I have some left, so we'll dump it in. And then another ingredient that we don't usually think to add is just a little sugar. There's sugar in those like Taco Bell packets. Just a little bit. If you don't do that, you're gonna be like, what am I missing? There we go, a little salt. And then move it around so that the spices start to get toasted. All right.
Did you know what soap is?
We're almost done. Tacos do not take long. That's the point of taco night. We're so close to tacos already. All right. We gotta do a couple more things.
Oh, my grill is filthy. I don't clean it. At least my grill is sanitized by fire. This is a pot that literally he needs to clean with soap and water. I sanitize my grill with a holy fire. Fuck off.
We have to turn this on. Just preheat it to like something medium low. You can heat it up later if you need to. We're gonna get our lettuce on here. I'm just gonna cut this tip off. I might use that in a second. But this is romaine, which is not super ideal. That's what I have right now.
What are you doing?
I want to make Caesar salad.
Why are you using romaine hearts for taco lettuce? Oh God! Did I miss this a year ago? Or was this my self-imposed moratorium on doing this stupid fucking videos? You don't do romaine with fucking tacos! It's iceberg, bitch!
So cut it thin. Just cut it nice and thin. This is important.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure it's a real important thing to cut a romaine heart thin so you fucking remember tacos. Do you know who it's not real to? The people that eat the fucking tacos, burritos, quesadillas, and whatever. I don't. I just. You just kind of like, you can't be this fucking stupid.
That's really all I need for my purposes. All right. Now, if you're trying to make like Taco Bell stuff, you want this pretty fine. So you want to keep breaking it up. Turn the heat down a little bit. Just a touch. All right, so this is essentially cooked through now. But we want it to be really good. So what typically happens in this scenario is we're going to add a liquid. Sometimes they just calls for water, but I have just some chicken stock. So we're going to add chicken stock.
All right, not a problem adding chicken stock. But you're still cooking in a cast iron vessel that looks like you cooked it in the fires of Mordor. You suck.
And we're going to let this reduce down. It's similar in technique to like, like different spaghetti sauces and stuff.
No, the closest you're thinking of is a bolognese, which is completely different.
but we're making tacos. So the liquid's going to help this break down, tenderize. You know, although it's already tender, it'll come up and simmer. It'll cook down, and then it'll turn into that like familiar taco meat filling.
You literally just
That you're used to.
All right, you know what?
Juggling multiple client sites? Supercharge your productivity with...
I forgot to make guac. Let's make guac real quick. All right. Here's how to make guacamole. Let's use some of this onion.
Oh my god, you see the rotten side of the fucking onion. And this cocksucker is still giving me culinary tips. By the way, this is the best efforts that he can muster. But you know what? This is where I think I'm going to end it. I have some stuff to do. And I'll see everyone later. Good night, everybody.
This is a